Hello, this is Professor Brown-Sederberg, and I'd like to talk about static and non-static methods. Now, I had two grandmothers. One was very formal. She was to be addressed as non-ependyment. She had to respond only if addressed properly. It had to be non-ependyment. My other grandmother we called Archie. We called her that because one of my siblings couldn't pronounce her name, Grandma McCarty. It came out Archie, it stuck, and we always called her that. She did not have to be formally addressed. It was fine if we just called her Archie. Now, static methods are very much like my easygoing grandmother, Archie. Static methods are called using the name of the class in which those methods reside. I call a static method this way: the name of the class in which the method resides, a dot, the name of the method, and then in parentheses, any and all appropriate arguments. I can call a static method with an instance of the class in which it resides, but that's not necessarily. Typically, we call a static method using the name of the class in which that method resides, a dot, and then the method name, and of course, any and all appropriate arguments. Now, non-static methods are not easygoing. They're very much like my very formal non-ependyment. Non-static methods must be called by an instance of the class in which that method resides. So I call a non-static method this way, with the name of the instance, a dot, the method name, and then any and all appropriate arguments. Now let's assume that I have these two classes, a class demo and a class myMethods. In my class demo, I have a main method that right now is empty. We'll add to myMethods this method, public static void method1. And method1 simply prints to the screen, I am method1, I was called, I am done. That's a public static void method. I then add this method, a public void method that I've named method2. It prints to the screen, I am method2, I was called, I am done. Now you'll note that my first method, method1, is a static method. And I have clearly stated that it is public static void method1. Method2 is a non-static method. And I declare a method to be non-static by simply not including the word static in its line of declaration. So here where we write public void method2, that method, method2, is a non-static method. The absence of the word static makes it a non-static method. Here in our main method, we'll have these lines. We'll print to the screen hello, call method1, print to the screen I am here, call method2, and then print to the screen goodbye. Now, remember, I can call these methods, method1 and method2, over in my methods from my class demo because method1 and method2 are public methods. They can be called from outside the class in which they reside. That's what public means. So let's execute my main method. First, we print to the screen hello. Then we call method1, and we call it with myMethods.method1. Method1 fires. It prints to the screen I am method1, I was called, I am done, and ends. Control returns back to my program, that is my main method. We print to the screen I am here, and then call method2 of myMethods. Method 2 is called with this line, myMethods.method2. But no, it's not. That line will cause an error at compile. This class demo will not compile. It won't compile because I am trying to call in the class myMethods, method 2. Method 2 is a non-static method. I am trying to call it using the name of the class in which it resides. I cannot do that. I must use an instance of the class myMethods to call method 2. This program, my class demo, won't even compile. So let's fix our class demo, and we'll do it with these two lines. First, I will add to my class demo myMethods m equal new myMethods. With that line, I am creating an instance of the class myMethods. I am going to call that instance M. So M is an instance of the class myMethods. I will use that instance to call method 2. So we see here in this line, M, the instance of the class myMethods, calls method 2. I have eliminated the line that read myMethods dot M2, open and close parentheses. That line has been replaced by these two lines. myMethods, M equals new myMethods, and M dot methods, method 2. So let's progress through this program. We'll start with main, we'll print to the screen hello, we'll call method 1, which will fire through, as we've seen. We'll then print to the screen I am here, and here create an instance of the class myMethods, and it's named M. We now have M call the method, method 2, of the class myMethods. M is allowed to call method 2 because M is an instance of the class myMethods. As it calls method 2 goes through its lines, printing the screen I am method 2, I was called, I am done. That method ends and control returns back to main with this line where we print to the screen goodbye, and now main is complete. Now, what we saw in that example was calling a non-static method that resides in another class. When we call a method, and we call a method from within main, main by definition is a static method. When we call methods through main, we can very easily call a static method in our same class. If we call a non-static method in that same class, we must create an instance of the class and use that instance to call the non-static methods. Here we're talking about a main method and then methods within that same class. Here we have the class demo. We have a main method. We'll add this, a method we'll call myMethod. That is a method within the class demo. So the class demo has two methods, main and myMethod. The body of main will be to print to the screen hello, to call myMethod, and then to print to the screen goodbye. Now by definition, main is a static method. By definition, myMethod is a static method. We'll have as the body of myMethod, I am static, I was called, through main, I am done. Those lines, those strings will print to the screen. So here we'll call the class demo, we'll run it. Main method is called. We print to the screen hello. We call myMethod. It fires. It's a static method, and so we're fine being called from within the static method main. It prints to the screen I am static, I was called through main, I am done. The method ends, control returns back up to main. It prints to the screen goodbye. Main ends. Now let's change this program just a little bit. Let's make our myMethod not static, but non-static. So here, myMethod is a non-static method. It's being called from within main. Both of these methods are in the same class. So we'll execute our program, class demo. Main method will execute. It will print to the screen hello. We'll call myMethod. MyMethod will be called no. You can't call a non-static method from within a static method. This program actually won't compile. We'll never get to anything in this program. Nothing will execute. It won't even compile. Because here we're trying to call myMethod, a non-static method, and we're trying to call it from a static method. My very easygoing method, main, is trying to pass a command down to a very, very formal method, my method. So you can think of main as much like that grandmother Archie, and my method as non-appendment. The main method was called very informally. Think of it that way. This method, my method, needs to be very properly addressed. It will only respond to an instance of its class. Even though main's in the same class, this method, my method, is very, very formal. So this program, as written, will not even compile. That execution won't even happen. It won't even compile. So what do we do to correct this? What we'll do is we'll change the way we call my method. So instead of just saying my method, as we did before, here, we'll have these two lines added. We will create an instance of the class demo. That's the class in which we are working. We'll name it M, and we'll create it with this line, new demo. So demo M equals new demo. We'll then have that instance, M, call my method, the method in this class. So we'll run our program, main will be called, it'll print to the screen hello. We'll create an instance of the class demo, we'll name it M. M will call my method. My method is fired, prints to the screen I am static, I was called through main, I am done. That method ends, control returns back up to class demo, and we print to the screen goodbye. So here we see that if we are to call a non-static method from within main, we must create an instance of the class in which both those methods reside and have that instance called the non-static method. Now, what we've seen in this, when we call a static method in another class, we can do so using the name of the class, a dot, and then the name of the method. Now this is of course assuming that that method in that other class is public. If I am calling a non-static method in another class, and we'll assume that that non-static method is public, I must call that non-static method using an instance of the class in which the non-static method, resides. If I am calling static methods in the same class, I can do so very easily. I don't even have to include the name of the class at all. I can just use the name of the method. If I am calling a non-static method in the same class, I must do so using an instance of the class in which that method resides. So when you're working with static and non-static methods, make sure that a static method, you can call it informally, that is using the name of the class in which it resides. A non-static method must be called by an instance of the class in which it resides. So static, easygoing, call it with using the class name. Non-static must be called using an instance of the class in which it resides. Thank you.